Good morning, all of you. Now, today we will be revising. Yes, good morning. And today we will be revising the second chapter in history from traders to rulers. Okay, I hope, as you all just told me, that you have already prepared the chapter. And so I'll be asking small things from the middle of the chapter also. So you can mark that also, and you need to know these answers. Okay, in which year Queen Elizabeth I granted the East India Company the monopoly to trade with the East, to trade with India? Okay, 1600. Aurangzeb's death?
I'm 1707.
Okay. The Portuguese, they reached India in 1498. Okay. What were the early settlements of the Portuguese in India? In which places they had their settlements in India? All right, fine. Goa, Daman, and Diu. That's nice. Okay. Who were more interested in the Spice Islands?
Ma'am, the Dutch.
Okay. Who was Dupleix? Dupleix?
Governor General of Pondicherry.
Okay. And to which country does he belong to?
France.
Okay, France. Good. What led to intense rivalry among the countries?
Mercantilism.
Oh,
Mercantilism.
okay, mercantilism. Okay, which country finally emerged victorious due to their supremacy at the sea? Which country finally became victorious, emerged victorious? Means, because of mercantilism, there were so many conflicts between the different trading companies, and so they were fighting amongst each other, sinking each other's ships, blockading their ways. So at the end of all this fight and struggle and conflict, which country emerged as victorious because of their supremacy at the sea? Yes, class 8.
Portuguese.
Yeah,
Portuguese.
I am asking, which I just now asked you that what led to intense rivalry among countries. You told me that it was mercantilism. Now you know what happened during that time. They were not only English and French here, but the Dutch, Holland, and all, they were also here, and so they used to fight among each other to get more raw materials and all that. And so, and then they were Portuguese also, they were fighting among each other. Now at the end of all this fight and this conflict, which country emerged as victorious? Because they were very, all right,
Ma'am,
English,
English.
right, English. Because their naval power was very strong because of their supremacy at the sea, and so they won. Okay, I hope you all have read the chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
now what was the reason of the rivalry between the different trading companies? Why did they become rival or enemies? What was the problem?
Ma'am, they wanted to buy the same commodity.
All right, because they wanted to buy the same commodities, the same things. They were interested in the spices and cotton textiles, silk textiles, and saltpeter, indigo, spices. So basically, these were the things which were uh, bought from India. And so all these trading companies were interested in the same things. Each wanted a larger share, and that led to conflict or fights among each other. Okay, Battle of Plassey fought between the Battle of Plassey. It was fought between whom? Hurry up. Battle of Plassey. Which year was the Battle of Plassey fought?
Ma'am, 1757.
And it was fought between whom?
I'm the last Nawab of Bengal.
The last Nawab of Bengal. No.
Ma'am, it was fought between British Army and Siraj ud Daula.
Okay, Siraj ud Dawla. So it was fought between the British and Siraj ud Dawla. Okay. Uh, any idea why the Nawab he failed?
Ma'am, because his allies
Hmm. Yes, any idea, anyone? You know, Robert Clive was also involved in all this, and he bribed someone so that he will not fight. Who was that person that Robert Clive bribed? Any idea? Okay, so Robert Clive he bribed Mir Jafar. Okay, and Mir Jafar he was the head of the forces, the troops. You could say he was a military commander. So what Robert Clive did, he bribed him. He said that if he will not fight in this war, then he will be made the next Nawab of Bengal. And so you could well imagine that what will happen if your military commander he will not fight. So if he did not fight, so many other troops also did not fight with him, and so the Nawab's forces were weakened and the Britishers were able to defeat them. Okay, Battle of Buxar, which year?
1764.
Okay, it was fought between Britishers and the combined forces of three rulers here. Who were those three rulers? The Britishers fought. Huh.
Ma'am, Mir Qasim, Siraj ud Daula, and Shah Alam.
Ma'am, Mir Qasim, Shujaudullah, and Shah Alam Siraj.
Shujaudullah Shah Alam.
Okay. Who was Mir Qasim?
Ma'am, Nawab of Bengal.
Shujauddaulah
Nawab of Awadh.
and Shah Alam too.
Ma'am, Mughal ruler.
Okay, so he was the Mughal emperor. All right. Uh, what was the end result of the Battle of Buxar?
Ma'am, the combined forces lost against the British army.
Okay, so the combined for. Yes.
Ma'am, Mir Jafar was instated.
Mir Jafar, he was reinstated. Okay, anything else?
Ma'am, the East India Company won and it became the real masters of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa.
All right. And you know the combined forces were defeated. So Nawab of Bengal also, Nawab of Awadh, he was also forced to pay a war indemnity, means war damages. He had to pay at that time, and then see, by this treaty, the Nawab he had to disband most of his army, and so the Nawab of Bengal now he could not keep a large part of his army. He had to let it go. And now, and the new Nawab who was formed there, he was their stooge. He was just like a puppet in the hands of the Britishers, because they have made him the Nawab here. So he was like a puppet in their hands. Whatever they wished, like, they did with him. And so Mughal emperor was also defeated, and he became their subordinate ally, means he also came under the control of the Britishers. So all the three powerful forces were defeated by the Britishers, and this made the Battle of Buxar made the Britishers the real rulers of Bengal. Okay. Warren Hastings became the Governor General in which year?
Ma'am, 1772.
Okay. What was the dual system of administration in Bengal? Dual system of administration. I think you have a question also on that. The dual system of administration, right? Yes. What was the dual system of government? Who introduced it? Hmm.
Ma'am, in
Yes,
order
ma'am.
to settle the problem of administrating Bengal, Robert Clive introduced the dual system of government.
Hmm.
According to this system, the real power of jurisdiction lay with the company, while the responsibility of administration was of the Nawab of Bengal.
All right. So, according to the dual system, what happened? You know, the money was in the hands of the finances. They were in the hand of the Britishers, but the responsibility of administration, it fell on the Nawab. Now, to provide services for the people, to look after the people, country, or any part, any state, any city, any village, money is required. But the problem with this system, dual system of governance, was that the police forces and the finances, they were in the hand of the Britishers, and the Nawab, he could not do much, because even if he wanted to, he did not have any money in his hand, and he was also paid a sum of money annually by the Britishers to look after his needs. So obviously he could not do much, and the people of Bengal, they suffered terribly under this dual system of administration. Okay. Now, the East India Company, they secured a farman in 1717, granting duty-free trade from which Mughal emperor?
Ma'am, Farooq Siyar.
Okay, Farooq Siyar, who was installed as the Nawab of Bengal after the Battle of Plassey.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
Mir Jafar.
ma'am, Mir Jafar.
Okay, so Mir Jafar, then again Mir Jafar was removed, and who was made Nawab in his place? Mir Qasim. After, and we just now saw that after the Battle of Buxar, Mir Qasim was removed, and who was again made the Nawab of Bengal?
Mir Jafar.
Mir Jafar.
Mir Jafar.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am,
Ti- Tipu Sultan was finally defeated and killed by the British in which year?
1799.
Okay. What was the main instrument or the chief instrument through which Lord Dalhousie, he implemented his policy of annexation?
Ma'am, Doctrine of Lapse.
Okay. What was the doctrine of lapse? Who will tell me about the doctrine of lapse? Yes, whose doctrine was it? Who brought out this doctrine of lapse? Okay, Lord Dalhousie.
Lord Dalhousie.
Because of this doctrine of lapse, Rani Lakshmi Bai, she also became the enemy of the Britishers. What was this doctrine of lapse, by the way? Any idea? No one in the class?
The chief,
Huh.
ma'am, the chief instrument of the Lord Dalhousie through which he implement his policies of annexation.
Huh. What was this doctrine of lapse? That is what I want to. Okay, through
In
it.
this, if a ruler dies and if he or she does not have a natural heir, his state was not passed on to an will not be passed to an adopted heir.
Okay.
And ma'am, it was an age of the tradition of the country.
Okay, so it is heir. It is pronounced as HEIR. Is pronounced as heir. So if a ruler, king or a queen, they did not have a natural heir, means real son and daughter, then their kingdom will not pass on to the adopted heir, but it will lapse. Means it will become a part of the British Dominion until the time the adoption has earlier been approved by the, not adoption, this whole process has been approved by the Britishers, that he will become the next ruler. But you know, the Britishers, they did not approve of any such thing, and so if any ruler, they did not have a real son or daughter, then their kingdom became a part of the British Dominion. So that was the doctrine of lapse. And you know, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi, she did not have a real son, and because of that reason, you know, the Britishers, they refused to accept her adopted son as the next ruler, and so because of that, she came face to face with the Britishers as enemy. The most important figure in district administration during the British Raj was,
Mom,
Collector.
okay, collector.
Collector,
Match the following: Tipu Sultan,
Mom in Tiger.
Tiger of Mysore. Ma'am, Tiger of Mysore.
Tiger of Mysore.
okay, why was he called the Tiger of Mysore?
Ma'am, because once when he was in the forest with his friend, a tiger came in front of him, and then his sword, ma'am, his dagger fell, and his sword didn't work, and at that time he killed the tiger. So that's why he may be called the Tiger of Mysore.
All right, so he was basically unarmed, and then he reached for his dagger and picked it up and killed the tiger, and that is why he was called as a Tiger of Mysore. Lord Wellesley,
Ma'am, subsidiary of the system.
okay, the subsidiary system or the subsidiary alliance. Death of Ranjit Singh,
June
June
1839.
1839.
okay, Siraj ud Dowla crowned king,
In 1786.
okay, and Lord Dalhousie,
Queen of Lab.
okay, doctrine of lapse. True or false? The Dutch had established their settlements in Goa, Daman, and Diu. Who had made their settlements?
Ma'am, the Portuguese.
Okay, the Portuguese. Right, right. Bengal was the richest and the most fertile of India's provinces.
True.
Okay, right. In 1651, the company got the island of Bombay from King Charles II.
Mom, false.
False.
Okay, what is wrong here?
Ma'am, year.
The year. Okay, the year.
Year is wrong.
All right, it should be, the year should be
1662.
1662, right? Good. Okay, Queen Elizabeth I granted the East India Company the monopoly to trade with India through a charter. Okay, charter is an order, a royal order. Okay, Dash were more interested in the Spice Islands.
Mom, Dutch.
Okay, Dash led to intense rivalry among countries. Mercantilism. The collector's office was called the
Collectorate.
Collectorate. Okay. Now, when was the Battle of Plassey fought? And what effects did it have on the East India Company? Who will tell this? When was the Battle of Plassey fought? Okay, tell.
Ma'am, can I?
Okay, who will tell? Decide. Mohammad Arif.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell beta.
Ma'am, my name is Farhan Arif.
Okay, beta, now how to tell, because that is what is written here and you just have your initial, so that is why I'm not able to know. Okay, you are?
Uh, Ma'am, Farhan Arif.
Yes, Farhan, tell beta.
Ma'am, the answer is the Battle of Plassey was fought on 3rd June 1757. The British got undisputed right to trade without taxes. They got a huge sum as war compensations. The East India Company servants collected gifts worth 30 million rupees from the Nawab and the Bengal treasury. It also received the zamindari of the 24 Parganas near Calcutta. The Battle of Plassey paved the way for the English conquest of Bengal and eventually the whole of India.
Okay, next, what were the terms of Wellesley subsidiary alliance? You know, we have four terms here, you have 4 points. So, just tell me one point so that four of you can answer. Just give me one point. Abhavya, first point.
Point number 1. Under the subsidiary alliance system, the ruler of the allying Indian state was compelled to accept the permanent stationing of a British force within his territory and to pay a subsidy for its maintenance.
Okay, number two, who will tell?
Ma'am, can
Who? Yashasvi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Sometimes the ruler ceded a part of his territory instead of paying an annual subsidy.
Okay. Point number three, who will tell? Ashray? Have you learnt? Ashray, have you prepared? Okay, point number three. Subsidiary alliance, the terms of subsidiary alliance. Point number three. Were you sleeping? Okay. Tell beta. Do you know or you don't know? If you don't know, it's okay. I'll ask someone else. Alright, Samantha, tell.
Ma'am, the subsidiary treaty provided that the Indian ruler would agree to the posting of his third of a British resident and that he would not employ any European in his service without the approval of the British.
Okay. And number four, Gauri, are you there? Okay, who said, ma'am, may I tell? Okay, tell.
Ma'am, can
No, no, Samantha, leave it. Huh, tell beta.
He would not negotiate with any other Indian ruler without consulting the Governor General.
Okay. Is that the complete point? Okay, what's your name?
Achal.
Achal. Okay. Why was the Battle of Buxar fought? Okay, anyone else? Why was the Battle of Buxar fought?
I tell?
Who is this? Can I? Vandana.
Yashasvi.
Okay, and who is this by Vandana? Your name is Vandana only, or
No, ma'am, this is my mom's name. My name is Devashri Dixit.
okay, beta. So you know there's a problem. How do I know? Okay, tell beta.
Ma'am, Mir Qasim was an able, efficient, and strong ruler. He realized that a full treasury and efficient army was essential to maintain his independence. All this was not lacked by the English. Ma'am, my question was, ma'am, I don't know my full question, but I know
Okay. Who will complete the answer?
I will
Ma'am,
complete.
Leeds, ma'am. Ma'am, I know, ma'am, I know.
Acha, okay. Okay, okay. Continue then.
Mir Qasim took the bold step of publishing taxes on internal trade for all. The East India Company could not tolerate this and led to a battle between Mir Qasim, the Nawab of Oudh,
Awadh.
Shuja, Shu-
Shujauddaulah.
Av- Shujaudollah and Shah Alam, II on the one side and the British on the other side. The Battle of Buxar
Buxar. Huh?
The Battle of Buxar made the East India Company the real masters of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. Mama,
Okay, all right. Yes, Yashasvi, continue.
Ma'am, the Jafar was reinstated. The Nawab was the dislean most of his army and administer
Disband. It was disband most of his army. Okay. And
Buxar confirmed the decisions of Placid. The new Nawab of Bengal was their stooge, the Nawab of Awadh. The subordinate allied the emperor, their prisoner. East India Company was legalized, and the revenues of this rich prisoner
province, rich,
at its
rich province at their command. Okay. And listen, all of you. I think you all have written some of the long answers. Some words here and there are wrong. Please check again. I have sent you all the PDFs earlier also. Okay. So please check the answers once again. See that the words are not misplaced, because otherwise you will lose your marks. Okay. Last one for today. Examine the policy of Lord Dalhousie aimed at annexation of Indian states. How far his annexationist policies were responsible for the great uprising. Has anyone learnt this? Really learnt this? Is anyone?
Can I?
Okay. Okay, Samantha has learnt. Anyone else who has learnt this?
Ma'am, I have learned.
Ma'am, me?
Okay, Yashasvi has learnt. And who is this with RV? RV? Who was RV?
Ma'am, Ma'am Sandy Verma.
What?
Ma'am Sandy Verma.
Okay. Do you know this answer, dear?
Yes, ma'am, I know.
Okay, beta, tell then.
The chief instrument through which Lord Dalhousie implemented this policy of annexation was the doctrine of lapse. Under this doctrine, when a ruler of a protected state died without a natural heir, his estate was not to pass on to an adopted heir. Instead, it was to be annexed to the British India, unless the adoption has been clearly approved by the British authorities. Many states were annexed to this doctrine: Tara, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Nagpur, and Jhansi. Lord Dalhousie was keen on annexing the kingdom of Awadh, but it could not be covered by a doctor of philosophy. Finally, Lord Dalhousie hit upon the idea of guilt by duty to protect the people of Awadh. Nawab Wajid Ali Shah was accused by having misgoverned his state of refusing to introduce reforms. The state was therefore annexed in 1856. Enraged by the humiliating way in which the Nawab was deposed, the people of Awadh joined the Great Revolt in 1856.
Okay. All right. So we'll stop here. Already time. Now we'll meet next week, I think. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then I think so we'll be meeting just once before your exam. I'll try to take one more class. Let's see if I could manage. So next time when we meet, I want to take a test, proper test of what do you say, all the civics chapters. Will that be okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then the next turn we meet, all of you learn all the three chapters of civics. And in case there is any confusion regarding anything, you can always post on the group. Okay? All right. So that would be all for today. God bless you all.
Yes, ma'am.